Lord, it's a very wet Thursday where we are, yeah. So now by profession and a proud old student of my opportunity to serve the people of the Afigya Kwabre. Welcome to Personality Profile, my daddy brother, Mr. Collins Adomako-Mensah. Welcome, Honorable. How are you doing off the victory, isn't it? It
I'm
must be
happy.
nice.
Yes, of course. I was excited, naturally,
Yeah.
winning. But
Would you call that a dream come true?
dream, yes, because I knew I set some.
Yeah.
Because I come from a very politically charged family. He sort of um, groomed me,
Oh, right.
into politics, but guided me on what to do. And
Wow.
so it was not surprising that at my age I've entered parliament.
Yeah.
Those who know me very, but I didn't know it was going to come this early.
With regards to the grooming, what did Honorable tell
I
you?
wanted to go contest. The first thing he told me was that go home, go think about it. And I really want to do this. He again said, go home, go and think about it, and come here. This man, what was he talking about?
Yeah.
But on the third time, but I wanted you yourself to take that decision. I didn't want it to be that I was putting pressure on you or forcing you to go. Yet to be ready before I enter. So, but later on, as I very, very interesting area.
So now that you're in, how are you finding it? Is it like you thought?
Yes, it's about civics to be a politician. It shouldn't be by accident. If you enter by accident, and I tell you, I enjoy more in the constituency than being in Accra. And anytime I'm going back to the constituency, I'm so excited. You should have that older than them, but
Yeah.
I'm leading them now. So that's why I say my people. But it's exciting. You go, you listen to stories, having a chat with them, getting their views on issues and all that. It's quite interesting what they needed. But they told me that no, honorable, this is exactly what we need, not this particular one. So finish with. So it gives me an opportunity to at least contribute my quota.
What don't you like about it so far?
Makes me unhappy. So far, I've been enjoying Parliament. So probably after some time, probably.
And of course, we'll talk more about it as we go along. But let's get to know Mr. Collins Adomako-Mensah. Okay.
I was born in a town called Amwako. My mom comes from the country. But at a very young age, I'm told that my mom and my dad separated.
Okay.
So around 3-4 years. So that's how come I landed in Accra.
Oh, right.
And so stayed in Nasalam down before Risek, the famous Presec, our school.
Of course, our school.
And then I love football.
Messi is or Ronaldo is, but some way, somehow, you're here today.
I love football. I mean,
Oh, boy.
those were very memorable
Yeah.
days. Mr. Boy Badu,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
sportsmaster.
Boy V.
Yes, I was.
Before we even get there, let's talk about growing up, because you came to Accra without your
Father figure for me. But when I got to secondary school, when I got to JSS, I think you've brought up a very important point. I was in school, it was after school. I mean, when school vacates. And I didn't know this gentleman. So I told him, we drove in the car. He began to engage me. So that's really calmed me down.
How old?
12,
Yeah,
13, thereabouts. So when we got back home, this same gentleman, so my mom had to open up to us that this was the man who was going to be our stepfather. And that's because he never made me feel like a stepson. He really took me in, helped, father figure for me. And although my mom and my dad separated, I named my second son after him.
Wow.
He's such a great father. So with my stepfather, the bond is more stronger
Okay.
than my real father, although we still speak. When I was getting married to my wife, we went for counseling, and then the counselor, he was like, hey, your wife is there? I said, yes, my wife even knows that I love my mom. So my mom is everything to me. We're three, an elder sister and a younger sister.
Okay.
And then until my stepdad came in, it's a little bit troublesome. I love to move around, playing football around.
Yeah.
You come back, you have to bath. You realize that those things that she instilled in us really guided us as we grew up. And so
You would be a footballer when you grew up. But back then, what profession did you admire?
they come along as very confident people, which excited me, because anytime they're speaking on the basis of the law. And I've told myself that I have to be a lawyer one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how come you didn't?
The idea was that after my first degree, I would have loved to do law. Right after business school, I think my attention off law. But I think
Okay.
now I intend to start something by September, God willing.
Oh wow, good. It's the Collins Adomako-Mensah. We can call him Messi, the disappointed Messi, because where?
Yes, and when I got to the university, I'm a vandal. So in 2007, I was the captain of the University of Ghana soccer team. And we used to travel to have bilateral games during weekends. I joined my colleagues.
Good stuff.
Just that the stamina and the strength is not
now
as...
the University of Ghana Business School, you chartered 3 years after completion.
Started work in the banking, Fidelity Bank. That's where I cut my teeth. I went back to charter as a banker. And then 2014, thereabout, I went to the banking. And so I thought it was important that I academically...
Fidelity Bank?
Fidelity, I entered Fidelity as a relationship officer.
Okay.
And as you come, a customer needs a facility. We used to write our credit papers on our own. So you needed to also master. So I worked there for close to about 4 to 5 years before I moved to Capital Bank, also with... As a politician, coach would tell me that, Collins, there are a lot of things that you learn on this field. I suppose anywhere you go in the world, no matter where you go. You know, football is an interest. Take the ball and dribble everybody on the field and score. That was why it's important that we all play positions. So one thing that I learned from there is that you can never achieve anything without cooperation. People around you, people who understood exactly where you want to get to. Branch manager, who was the head of the branch. But of course, the branch manager needed the relationship. The tellers are not friendly. You lose the customer. So you also need the tellers. The teller, the full house, to come together to achieve a particular aim. So I always tell people that what has had to have the ear to listen to everybody's opinions. You see, that's what football is about. So as a captain, sometimes we go, the coach will call me and say, Collins, I need you to talk to your boys. Winning for ourselves, for our school, you know. So these are things that really, really shaped. You have to be at work, you have to have morning devotion. So you go to work early. So these things culminated into bringing me up, you know. So when I was there, you needed to be safe.
It's safe to say you're a team player.
Absolutely.
And literally too.
Absolutely. You needed to. You need to. These were tough. I mean, you know, especially with the private banks. Fidelity, we had very huge targets. You know, and so all the time you realize that your branch manager will be tough on you. What is your deposit level? What? And so that was a huge challenge. I mean, your targets, meeting your target was a huge challenge. To relate to all of them. For all of them to understand that this is what we want to achieve, you know. And so your customer comes in, wants to withdraw money, your teller is in a very down mood, the customer is a huge challenge. Of course, there was competition. I mean, other colleague RMs are meeting their targets. You go for your MP.
Okay, so we're listening now and they're just, you know, nodding in agreement that, oh boy, I mean, these targets.
Also know that sometimes, I remember one encounter I had with my branch manager. He's to push me. You know, so sometimes you push, and you get 16. And then so because I said 20, you know you've been able to do 16. And although you thought you had not met your target, Fidelity, where I worked with, target setting is more of the targets are set to suit that particular terrain. So normally for Fidelity, I can speak to where I used to work. In this time around, this would be a target. Can you increase this particular one and reduce this one? So
are you hoping to contribute to the finance ministry and you know, finance economy?
Well, when you go to TVs, to your leadership, which is the whip, the majority leader, deputy, and the whip, to lend your experience. So I did choose finance committee. I did choose the trade committee to get that confirmation. And so, yes, I've made my request. I'm hoping that the leader. That's a huge prophecy.
I mean,
it's a huge prophecy.
We need to put that on record today. That we talked about it on Joy FM a few years back.
I'm sure with think of hard.
It's a WhatsApp message on 055 1111997. Honorable Call University team, very dedicated to his cause. So I wish him the best in his political career. V-mate. Collins is my good friend. Oh, okay. All right, sure. Thank you so much for sending in. You can send yours on 055 as well. And we're live on our Facebook page as well. So you can check out the live video on there. So at what point did politics way back in secondary
Yeah.
school?
So I began to frequent the constituency in the company of my uncle. So
Okay.
anytime he's going. So I had opportunity to join him. Some of his interactions with delegates, rallies. I was very young. Samia Uku,
Yeah.
who was then in Commonwealth, or Collins Owusu Amankwa, the former MP for Menchia. Went back to the constituency as a polling agent for the party in the constituency. Then in 2008, I went back again, also as a polling agent.
Oh, wow.
Fortune had begun to really, really grow within me. But by 2000, he knows me.
Oh, okay.
So I decided then to try my hands on.
Oh, wow.
So I became the assemblyman for 4 years. And then when I went to the assembly, now this position gave me a very rare opportunity to tour the entire constituency, committee and all that, to tour the entire constituency. So I really got a grip of the entire as assembly member. I decided not to seek re-election, but rather serve my party executive for another 4 years.
Wow.
And that also gave me an opportunity to in the constituency. In fact, I represented the party at the Constituency Coalition Center.
Okay.
So my former member of parliament, I got to know everybody within the constituency.
It's safe to say.
Constituency and really understand the problems within the constituency. I felt that it was time for me now to be part of the.
But the delegates, did you have to convince them a lot more?
Well, as I said, they all knew me. All the delegates, bred UP person, MPP person, full-blooded person. So they knew me. And then And as I said, because I had toured the constituency, I knew had knowledge of whatever was going on within the constituency.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it was the certain member of parliament. Then I realized something, that Lexis, it was not what we were telling the delegates. Most of the things we were talking about, welfare, genuineness of what you were telling them, because all 6 of you are saying the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
But they want them, So if you come and tell them that, well, you want to build a hospital for them, you want to do this, they look at you. I realized it was not what we were telling them, but it was how they felt about what we were needed to hit the right spots. Which is what I did, and that
They felt you were more genuine.
And let me say that my sitting member of parliament, Honorable Nanama, 4 members of parliament who go into a contest, lose the contest, and then genuinely come back to support him for he joining me in the campaign and holding my hands and taking me house to house, churches to churches, to indicate to people.
That's beautiful.
So let me say thank you to Nanama.
But why do you think he lost, though?
I view the in my message, which for me did the trick.
What was your message?
1,000 people, close to 65 to 70% of them are between the ages of 15 and 45. So whatever you say to them, you should be mindful of, or your strategies or your message should be geared towards helping this large group of people to lead them at this particular point in time was somebody of their age who are of youth unemployment. How do we solve that? So from September, I intend to apply vigorously from September the next academic year. At least each town, if not for anything at all, I should be able to. If you're able to do 2 per year, that's 50. If you're able to get some funds from colleagues, from friends to help you graduate within the constituency each 4 years, and the rippling effects that this will have. So these are some of the things that I kept telling them, that they should have faith in me, please, as a member of parliament, because somebody gave me an opportunity to go to school. So I was also prepared to help them push that.
You've been in the thick of it. I'm impressed in knowing that you started all the way back from pre-sec day game.
Well, so far I've not encountered it. I've not encountered the dirty aspect. Tell you who your father is or was, So yeah,
Well, things came up during the campaign.
Oh, you get very funny stories.
It's really surprised you.
Quite a number of them. quite a number of them.
What did they say?
Also, what are you saying? Oh, one of my opponents came there and told them that I've decided not. It's somewhere in Offenso, and I'd dole out some monies to them, giving them flat screens and all that. I was a video call, just so they believe me that I was not where they say.
And things and gifts to the delegates is quite popular. I've actually interviewed a lot of politicians. Some would admit that. Look.
If I sit here and I say I didn't spend any money, I think I'll be dishonest. It was money. I wouldn't be sitting here as a member of parliament. My people didn't vote just because of money. I paid the highest. No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That.
But you did pay.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot say that I'll be doing, because of the COVID era. The voting process was decentralized. I know sometimes you have to help bus people to come to where you find some of the delegates who call you. That is not what really got me where I am.
Right. Good stuff. I got a message here from Padmore J. Donko from Inkwan. Proud of this hardworking and brilliant MP. May God bless you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much. And Nana, good stuff. And Sheena says, I'm very impressed with his credentials. I hope he actually... Randy says, please tell Honorable Collins Adomako-Mensah that his group Big Ballers members are listening to him.
That's my best friend.
Good work he has started. God
was seated. I didn't get a room.
Okay.
The normal problem that we have in school.
Yeah.
So Randy just came to me and said, why are you here? And I said, we had just finished one lecture and we're waiting for the next one, which was about 2 o'clock. And because, interestingly, he didn't know me from anywhere. All he said was that, let's go to my room, go bring your stuff. I think I purged for like 6 months.
Okay.
And then I joined the soccer. And since then we've been friends. We've been close friends.
Good stuff. What's the most important lesson life has taught you?
Humble. A guiding principle for everybody is to be humble. We should try as much as possible, no matter your level. And I go back to the constituency. I play football with my constituency. Even my friends in Abelingpe and all that, I still go back, talk to them,
Other.
Well, of course, being voted into parliament should be to serve their constituent at age 37. And so that really was, wow, that, you've got a first class, and seeing my mother, and my...
Actually sent a message again and says I should ask you about a story about the guy who came to occupy the bed. Yeah?
Don't mind Randy. The story cannot be said on that's... I've not thought about it. But to date, I think I've not been able to buy my mom a car.
Why?
Mom a car. That is something that I think she deserves it.
Gates could have bought your mom a car.
My mom understands that I needed to get to parliament first. My biggest fear is to disappoint my people. Achieving all my promises that I made to them, because I know I always cringe when I get the thought of not being able to fulfill one of my promises. It's close to 80 to 90% of all my promises to my people.
Right.
One of the best decisions I took in life was to gotten married to my wife. Quite lonely for her, because I used to travel a lot to the constituency. I spent weeks and months at the constituency. It's difficult, So she's been very, very helpful, and I thank her so much for being there for me through all Pakwisi. And my mother, my last baby girl, I named after my mother. And then I have 3 other stepbrothers. 3 other who I click very well with, and so anywhere I go, I'm proud to mention them. Of course, my uncle has been...
Wishing Collins all the best in his new career. My humble plea is for him to stay focused and let service to mankind. Asking, is Honorable ready to support a school outside his constituency? Okay. But as we wrap up, before my last question though, how did you get the nickname Rasta?
Interestingly, when we entered Presec.
Yeah.
And then
George Spencer.
George Spencer was my career master.
Ah.
So, he was selves as freshers, no work, And then a night before Shippy. And then George and Spencer just walked in. And suddenly he just shouted and called some of the name stuck. And George Spencer who started that. And he started calling me Rasta.
Do you remember the Bob Marley song you were singing?
I don't know. I forgot. It's been a while. I love High Life.
Okay.
And my favorite, everybody who knows me knows that Daddy Lumba is my favorite.
Oh.
Joy.
The way you are smiling there, I've been what I would do for you.
I remember I went to a school in my constituency called Tetrim. I'm young. But what this means is that no matter and you learn and you pray to God and you are determined, no matter your age, you can get to your destination. So my advice to them, even get there at even a younger age.
Yeah.
So just remain focused. Know very well that yes, learn from the experienced ones. So I appeal to all of them that they should remain humble and get focused, and then with God.
And probably when you become finance minister.
Thank you very much also for having me. Thank you.
That's good. This is Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. We've had such a great evening. He's got a great story, and I'm glad that we got to hear it live on your super station. If you missed it, the live video is on Lexis Bill. Thanks a lot to my team. Adam Naite, Philip Nai, Abiku Sanko, Fisa Onofori, Anita, and Mirabel. God willing, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'll be back. Who's coming up very shortly with the Kent's music mix and a good ton of good songs to share with you on a lovely Thursday evening.